All right, good day, friends. It's another privilege to be around us today. My name is Deji, and we shall be continuing with our report writing lecture. Uh, for some of us that watched our previous video, we started the topic writing how to write executive summaries well and not writing amiss, which we titled common mistakes that people make in writing executive summary. Common mistakes that you make in writing executive summary. So, like we said in our earlier class, we started by telling us about the definition. We said executive summary is the abridged version of the report that you are writing. Is the abridged version, despite the fact that it comes at the beginning, it must contain all that is in the report. It must contain all that is in the report. You must compress all the information in the report to form your executive summary. That is, all the salient points must be presented. All the salient points must be presented. All. That's number one key. All salient points. All salient points must be presented. Must be presented. That is, you must write your all the points all the points that are germane in that report, find a way to compress them and write them out. Number two, we talked about the location in our previous class also. The location. Where should executive summary appear in your report? Where should it appear? Well, ordinarily, in the literal version, one can say, okay, since it is summary, it should come at the end. But no, professionally, all professional reports, whenever you're writing executive summary, it must come at the beginning. That is the location must be at the beginning, must come at the beginning of the report. That is, your executive summary must come at the beginning of your report. I made mention of this in our earlier class that first, the first thing you will see in your in the in the report, the first thing you will see is your cover page. Is that clear? The first thing is cover page. After which comes the executive summary. And that is what we are talking about in this class. That is, after your cover page, the next thing will be your executive summary. I hope this is clear. And what we are discussing now is what are the mistakes, what are the likely mistakes that people make, what are the likely mistakes that students make whenever they are writing the executive summary. And that is what is going to be our attention for this class. Okay. The next thing we want to talk about is the do's and don'ts. The do's and don'ts in writing the executive summary. We gave us some in our previous class. We shall be continuing on them today. Okay, for today, the do's for executive summary, for you to have a good executive summary, is number one, your executive summary must be able to stand alone. Your executive summary must be able to do what? To stand alone. That is, whoever the user of the executive summary is, the person must be able to see all the information that are needed in the executive summary, as short, as brief as the executive summary might be. It must be able to stand alone. It must be able to stand alone. Okay. The next point that we shall be looking at under the do's and don'ts is avoid repetition. Avoid repetition. That is, whenever you're writing your executive summary, all form of repetition that would cause, what is it called? That will cause that can cause some boringness, that can bring boringness into your report. You must avoid it. You must avoid it. That's number one. Number two, whatever will cause some tautology, you must avoid it. Number three, whatever you're writing, try and use words that are related. In our previous class, I said, do not use different terms. What I'm saying now is different from that. Do not use different terms. That means that if I use depreciation, if I use depreciation growth in the body of my report, I must not use depreciation. I must not use depreciation improved in my executive summary. I hope this is clear. That's the point we try to make in that place. However, avoid repetition. If you say the revenue was increasingly increasing, the trend of the revenue was increasingly increasing. If you are saying that, make sure you say it maturedly. Let your statement be matured. Do not just, when you get to cost, you now say cost is increasingly increasing again. No, it doesn't make sense. That's what we mean by avoid repetition. Avoid repetition. Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about under the do's and don'ts is that executive summary is called summary because it must not be voluminous. Therefore, it must not be more than 2 pages maximum. You must not make your executive summary to be more than 2 pages. That is maximum of what? Maximum of 2 pages. 2 pages. Try it depends on the length of the report. If the report is voluminous, the executive summary can maybe spread to from 2 to maybe 2.5 or maximum 3. But in cases of the professional exams that we are writing, with which we are training you for now, you must not let your executive summary to be more than 2 pages. Just try. If it's more than 2 pages, maybe for a quarter page of the next one maximum. I hope that is clear to us. Okay. Another one that we need to look at is that we must avoid using first person pronoun. You must avoid using first person pronoun. Okay, you must avoid using first person pronoun. That is what you have to avoid also. First person pronoun. What do we mean by first person pronoun? For example, if you are writing a report and you want to express yourself, you must ensure that you don't use I. Example is I. Do not use I. Do not, let me write it. Do not use I. The letter I. Do not use we. Do not use our. How will you avoid using this? It is simple. Make sure your communication, your report is very formal. What did I call it? Make sure your report is formal. Formal report. I will show us a little example on how to do a formal report. Okay, I'll show us a little. For example, if I am to write, instead of writing this, like we have observed that instead of writing this, you can say it was observed. It was observed. How this is clear? This is wrong. Why this is correct? It was observed that taxation had been underpaid. We have observed that taxation was underpaid. That is wrong. But it was observed that taxation was underpaid. That is correct. That is what we mean by make sure your report is formal. make sure your writings are common. And this is where we're going to stop for this class. We shall be continuing with our report writing. Please, if you have any comment, have questions, have reservation, please let us know. We'll be all yours in answering those questions. And we appreciate some of us that have been liking our pages and have been subscribing and have been sharing. We really appreciate you. Please, let's continue. Let's continue sharing it so that others will benefit from what we are learning from here. We appreciate you, and I'm sure I will see you in my next class. Thank you. My name is Deji. One more time. Thank you so much.